What's up, strangers? It's your boy, Derek Gorgon, and in today's video, I've been thinking about this a long time, but we're finally doing a top 5 remodeled weapons. Now, just as a side note, I'm not going to be talking about the gun stats, because obviously, and it would more or less just be an obvious thing, like, oh, obviously this is going to be number 1, because it's literally your favorite gun, or it's literally a powerful weapon. But I'm more or less going to be judging on the looks of the weapons and how much effort was put into the weapons, and more or less how they just look currently in the game. With that said, let's do this. Coming into the number 5 spot is the double barrel shotgun, or more or less whatever it was called, I completely forgot. I like calling it double barrel, but either way, apart from its name, this gun was one of the guns, or one of the many guns, you could say, that was first, or I guess like second, or I'm pretty sure it was the secondly introduced into the game after the Tommy gun and the revolver updates over the next update, basically. And basically, they just remodeled the sawed-off shotgun to basically look like a realistic shotgun, and if you see the footage, it actually looks very nice. But there's only a few things they actually did with this. Number one, they of course made the barrels of the gun a lot more darker, and more or less the thing you hold, or platform, as you could say, or like, yeah, something like that. The platform just a little bit lighter, and more or less looks like an everyday average shotgun, or barrel shotgun, as you could say. And the other thing they did was make a reload animation where you basically open it up and you put in 2 shotgun shots, and that's basically it. There isn't really much to it. And that's basically all I have to say. The only reason I actually put it on this list is more or less because of the ammunition. Because, I mean, who doesn't like to see 2 red ammunition going into the slots, and it looks really satisfying in my opinion. And that's practically all they did. The animation and more or less everything else about the gun looks very nice, but there just isn't really much to it. And also the fact that I find a big problem that the fact that this gun is really small looking, literally. And more or less it just looks like a BB gun instead of an actual gun where you're actually supposed to kill their asses off or something like that. It's more or less a weapon that you could just use if you have nothing else to do, but that's practically it. Coming into the number 4 spot is the Spaz 12. I know there's a huge species out there that are screaming at the top of your lungs like you're getting murdered, telling me that the Spaz 12 remodeled looks amazing. And I agree with you, it looks very good. What do we have? We have a shotgun that's a lot more confident in its basic reliability, and more or less just has a basic, I guess, built into it. Or more or less looks like a stronger version of every single gun in this game. And what's even better is you have invisible shotgun shells, which you actually get to, of course, chug it into the weapon as fast as possible, and more or less has heavy firepower and everything else as it used to be. And that's practically about it. The only reason I actually put it higher than the dual barrel was because of its reload kind of animation of having invisible shotgun shells, which is kind of strange. And more or less just how it looks like in first person looks very satisfying to actually use against zombies. Like, it's actually doing a lot of damage. And that's practically it. There isn't really much else to talk about the Spaz 12 apart from the fact of its shotgun animation, of its shooting, of its reloading, and more or less just how it looks in first person. This gun looks amazingly better than its of course basic form, but there just isn't really much else apart from the gun structure, its reload animation of invisible shotgun shells, and then its first person view, and that's practically about it. Still a very cool looking shotgun, way better than the double because it's a lot longer and a lot more noticeable to zombies, giving them fear of what you're handling in your arms. Coming into the number 3 spot is the M870, or whatever you want to pronounce it. This gun looks like a more upgraded version of the Spaz. Don't get me wrong, the Spaz looks very, very, very strong, and is way stronger than this gun by a long shot. We're going to have to all be honest by that. But this gun has a little things that the Spaz does not. And more or less, it is the reload animation. It looks a lot more satisfying, if it's just my opinion. And more or less, the shotgun clogging after every single shot. I don't know why, but I always get this sense of feeling where every single time you clog the shotgun back, whenever you're going to fire the next shot, it looks to me like the next shot is going to deal extra and more powerful shotgun damage than the previous shot you just shot. This gun looks like it can actually be used in a zombie apocalypse. This gun looks like the gun you really want to use when you first start this game. This gun has a lot more effort and a lot more work put into the gun than the spaz, because they actually put more work into the reload animation, its shotgun clogging, and its basic looks for its massive amount of blood and gore that's about to be spilled from every single zombie that it rips apart. Coming into the number 2 spot is the Tommy gun. This gun is a longtime favorite of mine, and I'm sad that it's not in the number 1 spot, but there's a reason why it isn't. And now I will tell you the reasons why it deserves to be in the number 2 spot. Number 1, we have the basic looks of it. It looks like a gun that is very reliable in every situation possible. In a great war, in I don't know what universe it could be in, from to a basic Nerf fight with your cousins that you wanted to murder every single time you actually met them. And more or less, this just looks like a gun that is very reliable in every single situation. The Tommy gun has a few factors that other weapons don't. Number 1, its basic, of course, looks. It has a lot more detail than all the other guns in the game for some reason. It just looks like a gun that is actually meant to be very powerful. Secondly, it has the basic firepower and looks of looking like it can actually kill some sort of giant thing that was destined to never die. Number 3, it has the reload animation, what I call is perfect. The animation of you dropping the drum mag down, putting another one back in, and then pushing the little whatever that is, fire thing, I guess, ammunition clicker or whatever that is. I completely forgot what it was. All the way back down, or back where it was supposed to be. Looks so satisfying, like it locks into place and more or less just looks like you are ready to spill some more blood once you clip that magazine back into the gun. This gun is insanely cool looking, but just sad it didn't get the first place. Coming into the number 1 spot is the Python. This is a weird one for many people, but I will tell you why this gun absolutely dominates all the other competitors. Sure, it's a lot more smaller of a gun, but in first person, it looks so devastatingly awesome. This gun has probably the most effort into its making than all the other guns by a long shot. Number 1, we have the shooting animation. Once you shoot it, your gun goes, I guess, up a little bit because of the firepower, and your hands have to, of course, get used to that, and practically looks like it can do a lot more after the first bullet. Once you spam the shit out of this gun, you reload with the most satisfying reload animation I think I've ever seen. You put the barrel, or you take out the barrel, which is like the little bullets in there. You spam all the bullets in there, you push it back into the gun, and then you're ready to fight again. Very small and fast animation, but super detailed looking, especially in third person and both in first person as well. Next thing is the looks of it. Once you see it in first person or in second person, or first person and third person more or less, it looks like a gun that is very reliable once you start off in a zombie apocalypse. It just looks so satisfying whenever I have it out in first person. Like, it is so devastatingly deadly whenever you shoot at first bullets. But what I love about it more is the animation when you take it out for the first time. You basically take it out from your holster, I guess from your waist that's invisible, and you do a little spin with it and you put it into your hands. Now you don't see it in your first person, but in third person more or less, it looks so satisfyingly awesome. When you get to take it out from your holster, it looks like you're an actual cowboy, or more or less have some skills of where you got those skills of basically, more or less you have some skills of getting that gun out of your holster. It just looks so satisfying to pull it out, and that's why it deserves into number 1. It's damn holster.